Well, as we wrap up the year that almost wasn't, that shouldn't have been, 2020, the year of COVID, and the year that Blake Christian took to the airwaves on a permanent basis and has been terrorising the Democrats ever since. Blake, how are you?
I'm doing great. Good to see you.
The highlights and the lowlights of 2020. There's been many. What was some of the highlights for you and for Holthouse, Carlin, and Van Trite?
I think we feel very blessed that we were able, we were one industry that, if anything, we benefited from COVID. Our clients, had tremendous need for accounting services, consulting services, how to navigate the PPP loan process, how to shut down, how to start up, and also to be as tax efficient as possible in a crazy world. So we feel very happy that we were able to ride through this much better than I predicted when it first hit. But it saddens me that the small businesses are just so just have had just tremendous pressure, closures, and I don't think we'll see by the end of the year the full fallout from COVID economically. I think 2021, while everybody's looking forward to it, I think that's when a lot of the small and medium-sized businesses that were kind of leveraged and didn't have a lot of savings are going to fold. We've had a lot of bankruptcies in 2020, but I think we're going to have, 2, 3, 4 times as many in 2021.
The long, dark winter may be never ending for some businesses under Joe Biden. Where do you see 2021 going for business under a Biden administration?
Well, my big fear is that he'll lock us down, businesses for 3 to 6 months and just further compound the economic downturn. And I just California, where I'm sitting here at the moment, is it's just amazing to see the lack of open businesses and the boarded up businesses in a lot of cities. And we're just going to have a lot more of that if he does shut us down. And I think he's made a lot of public comments that he's tending, not only to, have mandatory masks, which I don't have a real problem with, but if he starts shutting down, more and more businesses nationwide, it's going to get very ugly economically.
Now, just looking at the mask thing before we continue, it's interesting. You were wearing one before, but they're saying that what happens is that if you breathe in with the mask, because it doesn't protect you, what it does do, it protects the other person from getting it. So you all need to wear it. Problem is, when you take it off, if you touch the front of it, you're going to pass on the germs that are already on the mask. So maybe we need to have lessons in how to wear masks. Joe wears them on his ears. So maybe we could do a wearing of mask 101.
Not a bad idea. The efficacy of masks is still highly debated. I don't have a problem wearing one. I encourage other people to wear them, but we can't be sure that they're fully effective. So.
And now I cut you off. You're halfway through saying something, and I butted in. End of the year, that's what happens.
Oh, the short list of things I worry about in a Biden administration, the lockdown, number one, number two, tax hikes. But that's really, we have to wait and see how the Georgia Senate race pans out. If they win both of those seats, then he has free reign for tax increases. I don't think that'll happen, but if it does, it's going to be a pretty now that I'll describe it as a long dark winter. And he has a lot of tax hikes out there. And things like, I think he's very anti-oil. He says he's not going to shut down fracking and things, which has been just an unbelievable engine in our economy and has brought oil imports, to minimal levels because we produce so much on our own. Now we're exporting. So if that, he may not shut that down, but he's going to tax the heck out of it, and he's going to have a lot of fees on it. And I think the same goes with with guns and rifles and things. He's not going to be able to ban them, but he's gonna put a bunch of taxes and fees on those to make and probably cut off the supply of ammunition. And so those have the same effect almost of reclaiming guns. So I think there's just a lot of things out there. And I think, to be fair, I don't think all of these are Mr. Biden's objectives, but he has a lot of people on the far left to satisfy who helped him get into office. So that's what we got to wait and see who's going to have the power.
Really exciting year 2020. I say that with tongue in cheek and sweat on the brow, but where do you see humanity going? This is sort of getting off the money side of things, but where do you see humanity going 2021? Do you think there'll be more conflicts or less conflicts?
From a worldwide basis, I think you're going to have a lot more conflicts. We have a lot of people upset with China about their lack of disclosure on the virus, letting their population fly all over the world, but not letting them fly within China. I mean, there's some disturbing things that happened. You've got a lot of things going on in the Middle East, and now I think when you had a heavy-handed Trump who was not going to be bullied, and now you have Biden who, I think will roll over on some of these issues. I do worry about, some of the, Russia and China and South Korea or North Korea, having, getting a little more aggressive with us. From a community, from a U.S. standpoint, again, the polarized Democrat versus Republican challenges are, there's a lot of people arguing all the time, but at the same time, I saw some amazing things at the community level and industry level, like just today, John Sangmeister, who you've interviewed, a restaurant we own together, we raised in the course of just a couple of hours, thousands of dollars for the employees to help their families get through and make it a nice Christmas. And we've seen that throughout Long Beach. A whole bunch of the restaurateurs and the customers have just put in thousands of toys, thousands of dollars of money to help people out. And so I have seen, when the going gets tough, I've definitely seen people step up in Park City where I live full time. Some groups are helping the police celebrate, and the sheriff and the fire department, and also they've helped. We have a very large Mexican American community there because we're a hospitality based city, and hundreds of thousands of dollars went into various funds there to help them out because they needed help with rent, and they were the hardest hit by the pandemic.
You've been saved by the pandemic in one way, Blake, because they've banned basically singing and dancing, and I know that your prowess as a singer and a dancer is the reason why you chose to be a CPA.
Yeah, I have no talent in those other areas, so
So
uh,
there is always good from bad, and that's one of the good things. So your wife can actually take out those earplugs, and those close by cannot be embarrassed by this. This is a cross between an octopus and Fred Astaire. It's pretty scary.
right. Thank goodness my 16-year-old daughter has an incredible voice, and even sang at Carnegie Hall a couple of weeks before COVID hit.
Mm.
And but I have none of that talent, and she reminds me in case I do break out into song when something good on the radio is there. She stops me.
That's right. You'll be arrested for disturbing the peace. Blake Christian from Holthouse, Carlin and Van Trite. Always a pleasure. Have a great New Year's Eve and all the best for 2021. And we'll see you in about 2 weeks' time.
Happy New Year.